Obama is in town. There are helicopters, Army helicopters, black helicopters, police helicopters, Secret Service all over downtown. I was down there this morning. They were bugging their eyes out at people. Anthony Gucciardi lives downtown and had them bugging their eyes out at him just driving down the street. And I'm getting the point where if Secret Service says that to me, I'm just going to pull over, get a camera out and say, this isn't North Korea. You work for a total criminal who we wish no harm upon. The whole country's a giant fraud now. The borders are wide open. Big bank shipping the narcotics. Aren't you guys supposed to be looking for hookers and blow? They shut down all of I-35 northbound this morning, and I was watching it on the news. An hour after he'd driven by to some fundraiser from downtown, they still had it shut down. And I was driving to work and saw all the motorcycle cops still blocking the roads. Why not demolish the roads permanently? Why not nuke each city he visits as a sign of respect? As he gets off his helicopters and is saluted, a globalist publicly funding ISIS to carry out terror attacks. And he was at Robert Rodriguez, the Grand Dragon of Mecha La Raza's house last night, celebrating the destruction of America. Here's Leanne McAdoo's report.
Well, Obama is in the neighborhood this week, and rather than visit the border to witness firsthand the crisis that is largely brought on by his failed policies, he is going to be partying it up with people who have paid anywhere from $10,000 to $35,000 to bask in his presence at one of his Democratic fundraisers. Tonight he is in Austin, Texas, visiting the home of Austin-based filmmaker Robert Rodriguez, whose ultra-violent Machete franchise is very pro-illegal immigration. But instead of portraying illegal immigration in a positive, good-for-the-economy sort of way, Rodriguez's film bolsters support by demonizing a Texas politician who's seeking to tighten border control, and also they portray a Minuteman-style American delighting in shooting a pregnant Mexican woman. So it's hard to tell if it's a pro-amnesty message or a La Raza cattle call.
We didn't cross the border! The border crossed us!
And of course, Jessica Alba is going to be one of the special guests at tonight's fundraiser. Now, Robert Rodriguez has done a lot for the Latino community. He's launched the careers of a lot of Latino actors, and as well as his movie Spy Kids was one of the first theatrical franchises to feature a Latino family playing superheroes. They were the first Latinos featured in a heroic role, and Rodriguez did insist on that. Also, Rodriguez is a member of the National Council of La Raza. He's a President's Council donator to La Raza, who, of course, promotes the race over everything else. And Rodriguez is one of the new minority owners of a television network. His El Rey network is geared towards a Hispanic audience, and he admits that his network, he will use it if the president or the White House calls upon him to use the network to reach out to the Latino voters. But of course, if the way Machete promotes illegal immigration is any indicator of how Robert Rodriguez is going to try and reach the Latino voters, well, I guess we can expect to see more messages promoting racial division rather than bringing us all together. So this is who Obama is spending his evening with tonight, rather than visiting the border, rather than addressing the crisis and actually acknowledging that this is a huge issue, and maybe just showing the American people, hey, I'm not afraid to go and be in these border facilities where there's all these contagious diseases running rampant. I mean, even that, to just go and show that. Now, he's going to go with people who are paying $35,000 to go party it up at Robert Rodriguez's house, because he's showing you this is the kind of president he is, and this is where he stands on this issue of illegal immigration.
Hi, I'm Dr. Edward Group. Today I'd like to talk about the war on women. You've experienced and heard about the benefits of Super Male Vitality. Now, the new formula has arrived. Introducing the new Super Female Vitality. I have specifically designed this formula to help the body naturally regulate itself without the use of artificial hormones. key ingredients chosen from the highest quality sources. Each of these ingredients works synergistically with the female body in order to maximize overall vitality. You've heard the reviews and the feedback on how the original Super Male Vitality has revitalized relationships. Now, both the man and the woman can have the revitalization in their own bodies with Super Male Vitality and Super Female Vitality. Secure your Super Female Vitality today from our limited stock at InfoWarsLife.com.
And over in the Middle East right now, the ISIS New World Order Force is engaged in massive destruction of Christian churches, minority Muslim mosque, and engaged in mass exterminations. We're now several months into that. 3+ years into 300,000+ murdered at the hands of Al-Qaeda and ISIS forces in Syria. And Defense Secretary Hagel has come out saying every country in the world is threatened by ISIS. Basically, give up all your rights or they'll kill you any minute. When he literally is overseeing the transference of weapons to them. And they are a Saudi Arabian army. Simply amazing. And that's even in major defense publications. That's not even hidden or debated at an academic or military level. The general public, though, is being told we're going to take all your rights because of ISIS when it's publicly run by the criminals that sit upon our government. I'm going to get into Barack Obama and the fact that he's spending 3 days in Austin, 3 hellish days, I guess staying down at the W Hotel, with Secret Service crawling all over downtown, literally bugging their eyes out hatefully at men, women, and children to let you know you are scum, you are a slave. It's not about keeping the criminal puppet Obama safe. It's all about dominating America. Helicopters, checkpoints, I-35, the most busy highway in the country, the most busy stretch is through Austin. That's on record, according to the National Transportation Bureau. And openly, ladies and gentlemen, I-35 shut down for hours southbound today. And even after 45 minutes after Obama had left, I was watching the news. I said, I'll drive into the office now. I have to go down I-35 partway. I'm driving, and he's been gone for 45 minutes to an hour, and there's still the highway shut with more Austin police cars driving around. And the headline is from KVUE, Obama visit costs APD thousands. How about hundreds of thousands? And I mean, I think I want to go find some Secret Service downtown and just go up to them and say, why are you in make-believe land bugging your eyes out at, like, families pushing baby strollers who don't even care that Obama's here? We're here working and living. And then every time the emperor shows up, he could easily fly helicopters to nearby fields like he does in D.C. and places they won't put up with it, and then get in a limo and drive a mile to these fundraisers with all these different Democratic mafia bosses in Austin who've already destroyed California and now moved here. Instead, they would just want to shut everything down. It really makes me want to throw up. And I've talked to multiple people that have been downtown who are just blocks and blocks away from where Obama is at, with the Secret Service just rolling around bugging their eyes out of people. And I've had the Secret Service, and I've told this story many times, at Bilderberg 2008. No one knew where Hillary and Obama were in Virginia. They disappeared for over a day. We were there. The armored limousines came in with Hillary and Obama. Later came out they were there years later. And they would actually lift HK MP5s up and point them in our direction as we stood there with video cameras or with bullhorns. Like, ooh, I'm intimidating you because you're out here reporting, as if that scares me. If I want to go buy a dark suit and wear sunglasses, I can do it all day long. And I'd watch Secret Service walk around with their little, jackets, talking into it like they're imagining they're in movies. I mean, what a joke. You're not Clint Eastwood, okay? And again, I shouldn't even attack the Secret Service. I know a lot of them, and I know some very close to the criminal operation, and they say it's worse than we know. Not just Bongino on the air, who was a senior Secret Service, but a lot of them. But I think it's the mid and low-level ones that they have out far off that are just trying to play the part of a movie or something. And, you know, I don't like going to really bad third world countries because the police act a little like that. And I've been in England when the prime minister's right down the street and their people don't act like that. I've been there when royalty's running around and they don't act like that. I mean, this is the new royalty. And Edward Bernays, the big psych warfare chief, Sigmund Freud's nephew, who worked for the Department of War, the Department of Defense, the greatest PR propaganda master probably of all time, except for Joseph Goebbels, maybe. Joseph Goebbels was so jealous of him, it came out in the Nazi files, they had an international hit out of $1 million US on Edward Bernays. That's how jealous they were of him. But he was just as bad in many respects as the Nazis. And, of course, he wrote 3 books bragging about how he mind-controlled the public for the globalist. And Bernays got into the fact in the 20s, and he worked right up into the 70s when he was like 90-something years old, that we've got to merge politics with Hollywood that was starting to burgeon at the time and just make it all about how they're the new royalty, so it's not about their policies, and so the public feel removed from the political elite and feel powerless. And that's what the helicopters and the checkpoints and the TSA and the red carpets and the Air Force One and the Hollywood dinners with Obama is all about, is to make you think they're prestigious and, oh my gosh, like Hollywood people. And then the political class grovels to Hollywood stars, and the Hollywood stars then grovel to the political class. I've seen it. I've seen it myself. And it is so disgusting. In fact, I want to find a clip from myriad old movies. We've all seen old movies that have this, that are based on real things that happened, where the natives are about to kill everybody, but the doctor throws some gunpowder in the fire and it explodes, and they've never seen that before, so they start bowing down. Or to use a Return of the Jedi cheesy analogy, the Ewoks start worshiping C-3PO, thinking he's a golden god. Or to use Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, they hold up the golden idol and they all bow down to it. It's literally like natives that have never seen a firearm, and they're about to kill you, but you go, Hakuko Bachanga, and you pull the trigger on the gun and fire it, and they all start groveling in fear. That's what all the big government buildings and the black uniforms and the checkpoints and the black mask and the armored vehicles are. So this is what the system is. And then everybody else doesn't actually produce literature or art or science or trailblazing. Everyone then becomes a wannabe establishment type. So you have all these subsections of fake country club people and fake trendies with their mismatched socks and big beards lecturing you, you know, that it's bad to be a white male even though they're white males, or you know, the feminist movement. And then that's all it is these little empty, scared people who don't have success, who don't have an identity other than what they've gone and basically picked off a store shelf that they've decided is their humanity. And they're the intellectuals. And no one else is an intellectual but them. And they're going to tell you not to use the word bossy. And they're going to tell you not to use the word illegal immigrant and then immigrant. And they're going to tell you what you can and can't do. And they're going to control the language. And you're going to comply with them. And it is all just a giant, giant off-the-chart joke on every single level, and it's a fraud. But imagine it, like 7:30 this morning, I click on the local traffic news, knowing there'd be traffic jams everywhere, and I-35 is shut down during drive time. And it already takes an hour to get anywhere in the city because they didn't build roads like they should. They wanted to build light rail, and it's all, again, globalist control. And then I decided to drive in at like 10:15. I got ready at home because I had to go down an area of 35 that Obama had just gone on. And again, it was almost an hour after he'd gone by. And they had all of I-35 southbound. You just come on air, Buckley? Let's just shut everything down right now. I have a maximum rule 3 years in that when you guys come on there, unless it's to tell me a guest or something's ready, that I want you to say it on air. The listeners, just come on over to the mic, because we're gonna break this habit right now. Go ahead.
A friend of mine has been stuck in traffic for almost 2 hours, and he sent us a video. It's just a real simple, quick video.
Well, I mean, this is an incredible scandal, because the photos you found, guys, and I shot some video on my phone this morning as well, are nothing compared to the overhead traffic cam shots they had of just 30 miles of I-35 stopped. And then long after he went, it's like a revelry for the police under orders to just squat on the highway and just to keep it closed as an act of total domination as you're going bankrupt paying for the gas prices that they've engineered. So we're going to be breaking all of that down. Buckley, I have a new code on my phone if you're having issues getting into it to get those videos. Did you guys hear what I said? Okay, good. Now, I'm going to reset. I'm going to come back after the break. And I'm going to get into all this. But again, it's on purpose, folks. Because Americans will put up with anything. I mean, they have bigger ceremonies for the president than they do for the North Korean dictator. This is so un-American, it's a joke.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done's been right.
We filed a petition yesterday expanding on the one that our reporter Joe Biggs put up a few days ago. And last time I checked it, it had one signature. The article had almost 1,000 comments, but one signature on the article saying that we want the illegals, the children, to be bused to the White House and to D.C. To be put in the Democratic Party areas, and to let the Democratic Party fundraisers, all the big rich billionaires who are tax exempt under Obama, the ones that got all the Obamacare waivers, that they should house them. But even better, how about we go dump all the MS-13 kids and the rest of them, that's now being confirmed, off at the W downtown where the Lord and Savior is staying. And by the way, Austin media is basically covering up the fact that Obama shut down I-35 for hours. They're admitting there was some, quote, traffic problems, but they're not even admitting that there's still traffic jams ongoing while this happens. Let's go back to the White House petition. There on screen, there it is, that Kurt Nimmo and I put up. And you can go to Infowars.com and find the article that's now scrolled off into the news archive. That's the top stories archive. The featured news, top stories that roll off will be in the top stories link at the top of Infowars.com. And if you want to believe it, it only has 369 signatures now. This morning it hadn't updated. In the past, it would update in real time, and we famously have had petitions that got 500,000 people signing them. Now we get 369. Do you think they're gaming it? Do bears go potty in the woods? Do fish swim in the sea? Do ducks quack? Does Obama lie? So that's just some of the news on that front. Now listen, I haven't even gotten into the big stack of border news that is exploding and our reporters that are still on the ground in Southern California, where the feds are swearing with the sheriff to arrest anybody that dares try to block the precious buses where Homeland Security is human smuggling, violating federal law in front of everyone to dump illegals at military bases across the country and at churches across the country to then be housed in public schools and then to be legalized and then to be given voter ID cards and then to vote like New York State to ban guns. And we now have gun confiscation beginning in New York. I mean, it's real simple. It's a mafia takeover. And Robert Rodriguez has his El Rey Hispanic Ku Klux Klan channel. And he's a big part of Mecha and La Raza. For those inside the race, everything. For those outside the race, nothing. And it's openly funded by Obama. I knew about this when it was secret, but decided not even go there because it would reveal sources. But he's now given interviews to Variety, you name it, saying, I will use my Spanish-speaking network to influence politics in America and open the border to unlimited South American, you name it, immigration. And again, this is a reverse colonization, but we're being colonized by failed third world countries with the globalists working with them in tandem. And again, don't use the word bossy. Don't call them aliens. Don't call them illegal because Michelle Obama said so. And my God, it would be so scary to tell her to go to hell. It would be so scary to say no to these known criminals. We've just got to do what they say because they shut down roads when they come to town. They have red carpets. The Marines salute them. They are God. And so they will take your house if you don't pay the fake income tax, and they will give it to an illegal who will just be exploited down the road. So here's the headlines. Gun confiscation begins in New York. Nassau County man, state militias came to my home and took everything. As the governor promised, the SWAT team raids are beginning. Defense Secretary Hagel says ISIS an imminent threat to every stabilized country on the earth. I agree with that statement, and the globalists that run it are the real imminent threat. The globalists that run it, the destabilization program, just like the open borders here. High-level NSA official. The NSA has become J. Edgar Hoover on super steroids, spying on everything. Folks, it's well known. Everything's listened to in live time. Everything's tracked. The local police all want to be federalized because then they get let into the Star Chamber computer rooms where they can just spy on everybody, keep files on their ex-wife, their husband. It's just total beyond 1984. Maximum criminal operation. Money laundering, child kidnap running. I mean, the government is 100% pure Satan. Now, the average person mid-level doesn't even know that. And the government has a lot of real functions. But at the top, I mean, it might as well be Beelzebub captaining it.
General, what do you think about the FBI saying that there's a terror alert on Monday about a potential Fort Hood situation?
The police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted.
Whether it's the radio show, the news websites, documentary films, or the nightly news, InfoWars is the tip of the spear.
Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties and put more homeland security while sticking their hands down on the pants on the streets?
It's up to us to set brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere. And that's what PrisonPlanet.tv is designed to do.
You watch, the Assad regime is going to be blamed or accused of using chemical weapons against the so-called rebels.
What we see now is a war against reality. It's a war against the truth.
It's more vital than ever that supporters of freedom become members of PrisonPlanet.tv and share their membership with up to 11 friends and family. Visit InfoWarsNews.com today. Become a member, share your membership, and help take the InfoWar to the next level.